live. How about it? It says we're live. Yeah, I see it there. Okay, let's ask if they see us.
Maybe we can all go out and come back in.
No, you
Yeah.
guys are fine. It's just I'm not showing up. And like,
Well, I just got the notification from YouTube, so it should.
yeah, it looks like it's going. We've been live for 23 seconds over there.
But
Oh, so
we are.
what it was that wasn't connecting has now connected. So you guys on YouTube, there's some weird thing happening where I'm not showing up. I'm invisible, but I am here and I'll be helping to keep the conversation going. But mostly this is just about all these beautiful folks who have shown up over here on the Zoom side to share about their experience in the meditation challenge, ask questions, celebrate because you've gone through 2/3 now.
Uh-huh.
For a week to go. Oh, that's funny. Debbie says we can hear the voice of Metatron. Funny. Yeah. Okay, so all of you beautiful people here on Zoom, who wants to share an experience or observation, anything at all?
I am still haven't mastered but I still try my meditation. I always do sit quietly for 15 minutes. But I'm seeing a lot more signs like angel numbers and synchronicities and things like that. So I'm grateful for that. And I know my time's coming. I'll be able to, I will be able to meditate.
Well, you already are. You're just not getting what you're expecting. That's the difference.
Right.
Have you tried the guided meditation connecting with your guides?
I have, and I like that better. That is easier.
So for you right now, rather than getting into feeling frustrated, do that. And when you get to the end of it, stay in meditation and do 15 minutes and see what happens. Because
Okay.
you will be in that relaxed place. You've already seen something in that meditation. Just allow it to keep going from there. That's kind of
Okay.
an exaggerated version of prime the pump.
Hmm.
And it's
Yes.
perfectly fine to do that because the whole point is to get you to that place where you are fluid and enjoying the process. So try that and let us know how that goes.
Okay. Yeah, I think, guided meditation is best for me. And it's just, it feels like my imagination is just blocked somehow.
Right, but you have to use your imagination to do the connecting with guides. So
Right.
go. That's why I say that's priming the pump to an
Yeah.
extent, but that's perfect. So see how you feel about that.
Okay.
Rachel, do you want to talk about what's going on with you? Because you've been having some really phenomenal meditations.
Yeah, first I wanna send you some comfort reading about your horse.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. And as we say, her memory will be for a blessing.
it
And
is. Yes.
I'm sorry?
It is a blessing. Yes. I'm just not ready to talk about it yet.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I understand. Yeah, I have to say that this time, I mean, as you know, I'm able to connect with my guide, and I've been doing it all along. Although I've had, you asked me, where have I disappeared? I had really, really, really hard time in the past few months. Uh, and as you know, this is really all has to do, of course, what's going on in our country, but still in the old country. And I regard what happens there as, yes, it happened in October 7th, and some people were kidnapped by as far as I can see it, the whole country was kidnapped by a corrupt, regime.
Yes.
That's how I see it. Not to speak about what's happening in Gaza, which is really on the level of war crimes. So I've been really suffering over that. I cannot really get myself, because, I mean, my family, my friends, everybody is in panic, literally panic. And, we used to phone, years ago and talk, for 15 minutes, but now they are in my living room on Skype or WhatsApp or whatever, crying, so it has been very, very hard. But I really decided to join this challenge. And I mean, I've never really lost my special connection to Creator. I mean, it always will be with me, But I just stayed away just to see, how I'm going to overcome all this. And yeah, this challenge has been very special for me. I see that. I'm really impressed by the intensity of the energy that is traveling in my body. I didn't used to feel so much in my crown chakra, and now it's just overwhelming how strong it is. And the touching, the feeling, and this stuff that sometimes is really very strange, I can't even explain it. The sensation that I have in my body that maybe I feared them in the past, but now they are very welcomed. I like what I feel, and it's just like a touch of love. As a matter of fact, it sounds to me familiar and welcomed, So that's basically how I feel. Yeah, I did connect. I think I connected with Archangel Michael, and I'm looking forward to work with Dr. Elena. I understand that maybe it will take some time because she's interviewing a couple more people, and looking forward to it. Yeah, that's basically it.
Isn't it marvelous, though, in your time of great need, how the angels have orchestrated all of this to be available for you to connect?
Yeah, I was listening to you interviewing her, and it just like clicked. I want to do that. I want her to help me to do that, and I wrote her a letter, and she is responded right away. And then I asked Judy if I appreciate Judy's connection to the angels, and I just connected to her and asked her if she would like to, and she really said that she was waiting for this kind of work to do. So she talked to her also, and we're looking forward to it. Yeah.
I think a lot of light workers are looking for a special assignment like that to feel like they are contributing.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that I think as many people can go on board. I feel that that's how it should be. Yes.
Yeah. So, Dr. Elena, do you want to talk about that and just invite anybody who wants to reach out and join you in the work you're doing? Yeah, you muted yourself again. There you go.
I didn't do it. My mouse did. No. It's not behaving it either today. Yeah, so far we have, besides myself, we have 3 people on board. I was actually going to open up a private Facebook page so that we could meet easier. And Michael said absolutely not. He goes, because these private Facebook pages are apparently not as private as we think they are. So he did not want me to actually open up a Facebook page. So what I'm going to do, Rachel, since you're here, I can tell you, because I was going to send you and Judy an email. I'm going to move you guys over to my Gmail account so that we can talk easier, because right now you and Judy are in my Yahoo, and my Yahoo is so messed up I can never find anything. So I'm going to move you guys over to my Gmail account, and for
Right.
now we'll just talk through that until we can find a date where once a month we can get together and we can discuss what's going on. But basically, what Michael has me doing, and those who choose to participate, is because this world is in such turmoil right now, he is putting up and having me put up, and a lot of the other warriors that are in his army, we're putting up pillars of light throughout the world. And these pillars of light literally go into the ground all the way up to the net of light that encircles the earth. He is now inscribing them with love, truth, and justice, because it's needed not just in the United States, it's needed worldwide. And so that's what we're kind of working on. Sometime, well, this last week for me, talking about the meditation challenge, it has been very challenging for me, because apparently, and I know, Rachel, you had asked what we had been taught, what we were talking about on the other day. Apparently, when I combined my sacred space that I go to as a shaman into the woods in my sacred meadow, and I combined it with the Akashic records. Well, when I did that, apparently it opened up even more around me that I could hear, but we didn't realize what it exactly was. Apparently it's opening up
I understood.
different.
I'm sorry. I understood it when you said it in the meeting, meet you guys. I understood exactly what you were saying. I was just giving you the space, for you to go through all this and no rush. That's basically.
It was like, well, because the only time I've ever heard voices coming out of the wall were when puppies or kittens would drop down into my townhouse in Fountain Hills, because they needed to cross over, and they knew I had a painting in the wall that they could use to cross over. So this last week, when all of a sudden these voices started just coming out of the walls, I'm like, what the heck is going on? Because I wasn't getting any sleep whatsoever, because they never shut up. And that's when Deborah and I realized I had opened up or gotten closer to a different dimension. So I was hearing people in this other dimension talking. So of course they couldn't, I don't think they could hear me, telling him to shut up. But I finally had to ask Michael, please, when I'm sleeping, put protection down around me, put a barrier up on that wall so that I can finally get some sleep.
Yeah.
But that's what happened, is I apparently have opened during this new meditation that this go around this year. My abilities have gotten a little stronger. And so apparently I opened up this other door to a different dimension, and they talk a lot. I mean, I don't know what they're saying, because I haven't figured it out yet. And I finally told Michael, until I can get my ducks in a row, we need to quiet them down so that I can get some sleep first, because I needed some self-care and get my energy back. So little by little, and I think this is part of what the work is also going to be with Michael, is that we're going to start being able to talk and hear different dimensions as we clean up the energy, as we focus on bringing more love onto the planet. So that's basically what Michael is doing with the pillars of light, is we're really clearing up the dark energy that is still here on the planet. And he just directs where the pillars go. He's like, we need one here, we need one here. And I just make sure it happens and they get connected to that web of light. And as you can see, we are starting to see activity going on around the world where things are happening, where we've been trying to get a lot of this cleared up over the years and nothing has happened. Well, now with these pillars going in and so many of them, And now we have a focus of a group of us literally focusing on certain areas to put that light and love in there. It's shaking up the energy where it's kind of like pulling up the dark old crap that needs to go.
So, Elena, can you put your contact info in the chat there? And I don't know if you're on the YouTube, if you can put it there as well. So anybody who wants to join you in this work, they know how to reach you.
Oops, I have to put my glass on. Yeah, I was waiting for, there was one other person from YouTube that she keeps saying she wants to be a part of this. And I keep reaching out to her. That was the one person I was still waiting for, and she has not responded. She keeps talking and asking questions and commenting on the videos, but she won't set up a time to talk to me one-on-one. So we do what we can.
Yeah, all things in good time. Just go ahead. And when you come down here on Zoom, I can copy it over to YouTube. And while we're waiting for Elena to do that, I got an email from Eileen. Most of you know Eileen. Acadian Proud is her handle. She is in a really bad way today because she lives very near the epicenter in DC. And she's so all of that energy is crushing her today. I just asked her if she'd please at least jump on and listen in to get the energy. So let's all send her some love and light, some extra protection for today, so that she can get through this hump and come back stronger tomorrow. It's okay to take a pause when you need to take a pause, but we just don't want to stay down. We want to get back up and keep going. So lots of love and light to you. Angels surrounding you, Eileen. Kathy, you've been having some really cool meditations. Do you want to share?
Well, sure. Yeah, they've been pretty cool. I mean, I never, know what's going to happen, of course. And I'm not thinking them up. I mean, they just kind of seem to have a life of their own. And so the one yesterday really confused me, though, because I was having a really great time at the river in the meditation with the leprechaun and the fairies. And then all of a sudden, a woman showed up to my right near the river, and she kind of looked like one of those earthbound spirits that I think may be causing me trouble. I used to see them, but I kind of blocked them out where I didn't see them anymore. And I'm going to see Dr. Elena about the situation, but so then I didn't want to have anything to do with her. And a man jumped in and took her off to go dancing with him. So I don't know if it was like something I really needed to pay attention to, or if it was one of those earthbound spirits interrupting, because they do all the time. And how do I know if it's something I need to be following up with versus like an interruption like that?
So when you do your opening prayer, your soul is in the Akashic records.
Okay.
Earthbound spirits can't enter into the Akashic records.
Oh, okay.
Not until they do their proper crossing over and all that stuff. So there's nothing negative. So if you're getting action, then that's us on that side wanting to interact with you in some way.
So it could have been something in my Akashic records then.
A message could have just been friendly hanging out with you. It could be a lot of things.
Okay.
So you go through and check on the symbolism. If you don't get all the information in the session, then remember what you want to ask about and ask your angels on another occasion. You can ask for clarity. They will do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I need to do that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be an enigma. You can say, hey, I don't know what the heck this means. Please give me more detail, and they will.
Okay. Well, I haven't done the meditation today. It could be something I see again, maybe today. I haven't done the meditation yet, but okay, well, that helps me to know it was not an earthbound spirit. It was in the, from the light and everything. So,
Yeah, the earthbound spirits would be here in the fourth dimension, and you're in the fifth dimension when you're in the Akashic records.
okay. Well, that's good. Well,
Awesome.
the
And now-
other than that is going pretty well, and I mean, I feel really good about it, and I feel like I'm learning a lot, and anytime I have the experiences with the guides and angels, I feel like I'm, kind of learning something during those meditations with them.
Yeah, you're constantly learning things because they're always dropping new stuff on you. And as we've talked about a little bit here and there, what you're also doing is building a language with them. So they'll start showing you things and you'll notice certain things will appear over and over, and then you'll make the connection. Oh, when I see that, it means this. So
Mhm.
they're kind of a shorthand language with you. So that later on, you'll have more abbreviated sessions where you don't get that whole drawn out story. You just go right to the point, and they use that symbolism to talk to you.
Okay.
Doesn't mean you can't still have those fun adventures, but
Yeah.
you find that you can go into a meditation and just talk and get really into what you need to know at that moment instead of having to wait and then do all the sleuthing to figure out what it means.
Oh, right.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so glad you shared that story because there are probably lots of people out there who are having similar experiences, and we tend to blame ourselves and think we did something wrong. When
Hmm.
you're learning, it's part of the process. You can't do it wrong. Just go with the flow and what feels good. Keep
Okay.
coming back. That's the important thing.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that's important to me is that, it was all in the light. So that was real helpful that you told me that. So,
Awesome. So I put Elena's info over there on the side. And Debbie Brady said she's also in the epicenter there with you, Eileen, and she's sending out love and support. So I'm glad you were able to jump on and join us, Eileen. And you don't have to turn on the camera if you don't want to. It's up to you. But
I'm here,
you.
and I cannot tell you how much sadness and despair I am feeling right now. I am just overwhelmed by it. Just overwhelmed by it right now.
I think a lot of people feel that way. But as I wrote you, what we have been told by the angels is even though this seems like the end of the world and ultimate devastation, this needed to happen. Because remember, Trump's job is to expose the corruption. And we've got all those MAGA people who have not yet seen the light. So had he lost, there might have been civil war, and none of us want that.
I know that here, but the problem is I work in emergency management. I will be working with all the people who are going to suffer because of it. And it is, I just don't get it. I don't understand why so many people have to suffer.
Well, actually, they don't. When you get back to the bare bones of what we're studying here, we are sovereign souls. We are creating our own reality. So no matter what's going on out there in the world, if we embrace that and we use that, we can make it better for ourselves. And it doesn't help anybody to send them pity because that's disempowering. We can send them love, uplifting energy to help them find their own way through, help them find resources. But remember, they're here having their own individual soul experience like you are. And you're robbing yourself of your experience when you allow yourself to be devastated this way. So this is a huge growth opportunity for you. And I know it's hard because you're an empath, but put those shields on so that you don't feel it so intensely.
I don't. I'm trying and I can't. I can't. I can't even find the light to be able to start putting up those shields right now because all I feel is such despair. It's just getting worse.
Yeah. And as long as you keep telling yourself that story, it will get worse. I'm sorry to say that, but that's the truth. When we wallow in things like this, we feel even worse. So this is your moment to say, GD, I am not going to wallow anymore. I'm going to stand in my power as this amazing soul who was here to make a difference in this world. Because you can't do that when you surrender. And I know when you're flat out on the, it's hard to get there, but reach up a hand. Just hold your angel's hand. Let them embrace you. Let them lift you up and carry you, soaking up all that divine, blessed, healing love light that they have to give you until you feel just the teeniest bit better. That's all you need is just a tiny bit better. And then a little more. You have to give yourself that space and grace.
I don't know. I just don't know right now. It's just, it's sending me into a depression.
Yes.
And that's where I'm going right now. It's sending
So
me into a depression.
if you get some help from experts, maybe you need a prescription temporarily, do that. Take care of yourself.
Well, one of the things I have done is I've stopped watching some of the tarot readers because some of them I just can't take anymore. I just can't do
Yeah.
that anymore.
Same for me. I've eliminated several because they just kept insisting on this magical thinking that today wouldn't happen. And it was very clear that it would.
Well, you either have those or it says, or the ones, oh, we'll get through it. Don't worry, we'll get through it. And it's like, I can't take this chair anymore. They're too cheerful. It's like, no, you're telling me that my feelings don't count. When you say, we'll get through this, my feelings count. And when I hear them say that, it's almost they're dismissing how I feel.
Yeah. Well, can you feel all the love and the light that we're sending in the big embrace to you?
I'm trying. I truly am. It feels a little lighter, but I'm trying. That's all I can say.
A little lighter. That's an improvement. That's all you need is that one little tiny step, and then more steps will come, right? One step at a time. Feel the love, because miracles happen every day, and you deserve them as much as anybody else.
I just don't.
When you feel like this, can you do a guided meditation?
That's the thing. I try to do guided meditation, and that opens me up to even more of that negative and the sadness right now.
What if you do one like where Jesus comes and washes your feet? Would that help you feel better? Because that's a very deep, profound meditation.
I don't know. I don't think that would help right now.
Okay. Well, when you feel like you're willing to at least try one of those really deep ones, because if it lifts you up just a little bit, that's all it needs to do. And then you'll carry on to the next one. But right now, maybe you just need to shut everything off and lie in a dark room, listen to music that soothes you, whatever it takes to feel better.
Watching Theodore Tugboat on YouTube, something extremely silly.
Some comedies, maybe.
Yeah, well, Theodore Tugboat takes place in Nova Scotia, so it brings me home.
There you go. See, you do have some tools.
Oh,
So advocate for yourself and use those tools to bring yourself up bit by bit. You can do this. And you don't need.
One of the things I did was I went into YouTube and said, don't recommend these channels to all the news channels. I don't want it coming in, period. I don't want to see any news, period.
It's overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
And that's self-care. So do that. That's perfect.
I just want to say to you, Eileen, that I myself stopped watching since the election any news whatsoever. Nada.
Yeah. Well,
I-
I don't even have TV. I don't watch TV. The only thing I do is YouTube, but I've told that I cut out all those channels.
And as far as reading, anything that's happening in Israel, I don't read papers from there anymore. I cut it out too. I
Yeah.
mean, really have to protect yourself.
Trying, but it's just today it really became overwhelming. Up until today, I'm the one who always say sending positive white light and calming white light to everybody. And today it just became overwhelming.
Yeah.
Just
Oh.
over.
Times when we stumble, Eileen. So don't beat yourself up for that. Jamie wrote over on the YouTube side that the reality hit her about an hour ago and she's been crying. And if that's what you need to do, then do that. Just don't go too far into the despair.
I don't. I think tomorrow I'm gonna call up to get something to help because I can't do it on my own.
And that's very wise, knowing to ask for help when you need it. Yeah, Sheriff Spirit says it's important to shift our gaze. Yes, exactly. And that's what Metatron's been talking about for a long time. Know that it's out there, don't ignore it, but use soft focus so that it doesn't intrude upon you so deep.
The problem is my work. It's my work. It's what I do every day. I work with the hospitals. I work with disasters. I live and breathe it. And it comes in I see it face to face all the time. And that just reinforces it. And I'm just thinking of all the programs that they're looking at cutting that are going to affect those people that will make those disasters even worse.
Yeah, so here's something I want you to consider. By you going through in your mind all of those disasters that could happen, you're making yourself more miserable. You don't know that they're going to happen, but you're giving energy to helping them happen. So, when I lost Misty last Monday, I could have just fallen down crying because 25 years with that horse, she was my heart and she's gone. So I had to tell myself, remember, focus on the 25 years of beautiful memories. Don't think about what you're going to miss. And then I got a beautiful vision of her on the other side where she met her little baby that she never got to see because she died in utero. So they united. And Sapphire, my dog, was there to greet her. Joshua, my old dog, was there to greet her. And my horse from childhood was there to greet her and other family members. It was so beautiful. And she was so at peace that I was able just to keep going as long as I don't talk about it too much, going and move forward. So we don't want to focus on what makes us feel bad. Does that make sense?
I can tell you right now, you telling that story made me feel even sadder. I don't know why. I just went back. Went deeper into sadness, and it's
you being the boss of your thoughts. You can have sad thoughts and make yourself feel worse, or you can focus on happy thoughts and feel better. It's a discipline. One step at a time.
one step at a time.
So Maria is asking, how long do we need to hold on? When will we see a little light coming?
That's the thing. I don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. All I see is darkness right now.
And that's what the dark forces want. They want us to surrender in hopelessness and despair. But we're not going to do that because we have seen the bigger picture. It might be hard, but we're all standing together. We draw strength from one another. We keep forward doing what we. And Maria, I don't know exactly how long it's going to take because part of it depends on how soon the magas come around. So there are factors there that we can't control, but we can keep moving forward with our love, sharing it, being ready to support those magas when they do finally wake up, because they are going to be as devastated as Eileen is right now when they realize.
That's right.
So we need to be strong and ready to support them. And I do believe, Maria, that there will be little shards of light shining through. And then one day there will be more of them and more. It will build. There's a momentum that will come out of this. So don't be giving up hope. Creator has promised us we will win. It's just a matter of timelines. And if enough of us come forward putting enough effort, it will be sooner. That's what we can hold on to.
The generations are going to be affected by this.
Maybe. We don't know that for sure. We know that we're going to do everything in our power to keep that from happening. And remember, they are sovereign souls. They're incarnating into situations that are a match for what their soul wants to learn. So we can't get all tangled up in that. We work on the things that we have control to work on. And we have unlimited power to send love and light, to create our own reality in as positive a manner as we can, because that's putting more positive energy out there. And you are an expert at sending positive white light and energy. So you just need a little break right now.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe I just need a break.
If you could take some time off from work, if you could get, a week off or something.
I don't have that time.
Okay.
I don't have that
Well,
time.
at least you're at home. So
Yeah.
Thank goodness that you're telecommuting right now. That's better.
Yeah,
So-
at least for the next 2 weeks I have it. I don't know what happens after that, but at least for the next 2 weeks.
Yes,
I
sir.
just,
Be with nature, love a plant, and see the sky. Yeah, allow nature to soothe your soul. If you can go to a park or somewhere in nature, go hug a tree. Let that tree fill you with support and love from Gaia coming up from the ground to you, and from Creator coming down from above to you. It's all there for you to accept and take it in.
I think part of the problem is I don't have anybody here with me in this location. I don't have many friends. I telework, and so I only go out to go to the grocery store,
Debbie Brady
the
posted
doctors.
she's there for you and she's in your area. So
Who is?
Debbie Brady. She's in the DC area. She's in chat right now. She's one of the wrenches.
Can you send her my email address so that we can connect?
Sure.
Thank you.
Jamie says she's staying in the moment. That's her way to cope. That's perfect, Jamie. Absolutely. Cher says, we are the light. I truly believe we need to remember who we are in this time. We have support from our angels and guides, but we can't give our power to darkness. Stay in the light, direct your thoughts. And again, going back to when we incarnated into this life, we knew it was going to be rough. I don't think we knew how rough, but this is hang on, baby. Get the oars out in your canoe and you just keep paddling. Don't let
I think it's because I've been home with the vertigo for so long and been isolated for so long.
Yeah.
That I'm feeling even more down
I'm sure
weakened.
vertigo complicates things greatly. So you're doing great. Just give yourself that little time and then bounce back as quickly as you can. You don't want to stay in the abyss any longer than you can help.
Yeah.
Maria, I know there's light. Today was just a gut punch. Absolutely. I didn't watch any of it, Maria. I stayed in bed until it was over and then I got up because I just didn't want to see it. And I posted the message from Dr. King as a countermeasure for that dark energy. And it was really an incredible message. If you haven't either read it on Medium or heard it on YouTube, you need to go read it because he had some pretty harsh things to say about what's going on in the MAGA side.
I watched Theodore Tugboat.
What's that?
I watched Theodore Tugboat on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Think of Thomas the Tank Engine and it's tugboats instead of Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah. Yeah, I got that picture. Jamie said, I am the light. The light is within me. The light moves through me. The light surrounds me. I am the light. So mantras like that can be helpful as well, Eileen.
Yeah. I'll try.
Yeah.
I think
Wonderful.
I just need some rest.
Yeah, sleep would be good.
Sleep will be good because I got to be at work at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning online. So,
Yes, says tiny little things add up. Many never talk about what they're doing. Hundreds of silent light workers. So take good care of your energy. Thank you for that, CS.
thank you, everybody, for letting me cry. I do appreciate it. And I will take in your light right now. And I do appreciate you sending it.
We are flooding you with angel love light. You will float away on a cloud of love.
Thank you. I'm going to go lay down for a while. Thank
Right,
you
love.
again. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, Jamie, it's a little cold to be outside today, but that's okay. We have one another. We have this gathering to lift us all up. So anybody else want to share about their meditation experience? Let's shift the energy in another direction.
This is Dave.
Hey, Dave, go ahead.
So I'm up to 15 days of just yawning, not making much progress. But I'm not discouraged. Several times in my life, I've gotten into a course where it seems like everybody in the course is making more progress than me. But I always get through the course and I always benefit. So the fact that I'm hearing various things, and I'm not making much progress, doesn't discourage me. I know it's just going to take a little more time. So, like you used the expression of they're priming the pump, and I'm not sure if I'm getting more high vibrational energy, which is raising my energy, or whether they're removing negative or low vibrational energy. But either way, I think the energy is coming up.
Wonderful. So have you tried a guided meditation to super prime the pump?
No, but I did specifically ask the Archangel Metatron to try and raise my frequency, a little more, or whatever else that could be done each day. So I've been bringing him in specifically and asking him for additional help wherever possible. And again, I think it's just going to take time.
Yeah, it's practice. And the other thing that you mentioned, you watch all these posts about these amazing experiences people are having. But remember, a lot of people are not posting. We've got over 200 people in that group. And I don't know, maybe there's 20 people who actually post. So the ones who are having those great experiences are posting, but a great many are silent in the background. And they're probably not getting all of those wonderful things, which is why they're not posting. And I wish they would, because then we can help them. So for you, I would recommend do one of those guided meditations to get you into that deeper space. And then when the recording stops, you stay there and you allow your 15 minutes to start there.
I do an hour of meditation before I start. Without going off too much of a tangent, I had a headache for 7 years and I decided to meditate as a solution. And meditation took a couple of years, but got rid of my 7-year headache. And so part of my natural process is I spend over an hour of meditation every day, regardless of what I do. And so therefore I'm meditating a full hour before I start this 15 minutes.
Can you do them at different times of the day? Because that might be part of it, doing them back to back. You need to shift energy, because the meditation we're doing is different than probably what you're doing. So you need that time.
Absolutely.
So go in with a different energy by doing it at a separate time and see what happens.
Very good. Well, thank you for the advice.
Yeah. Let us know how that goes.
All right. Talk to you next week.
Okay. Abby, how are you doing?
Not sure. I've had things happen. I feel, let's see, there are a couple things. One is I still feel this distinction between being in prayer and doing this meditation. that it gets confusing to me sometimes. So, for instance, was today I visualized Washington, D.C. surrounded by dragons. They were all facing outward, breathing fire. They were very fierce, not violent, not aggressive, just solid. And then angels were, or some kind of light beings were coming down and spreading love and light, which was a completely different energy. And so I felt like, because part of what happened to me when I went into this was trying to come to terms with what was happening today and wanting to, project some good love and light, and which to me is like a form of prayer. And but then I get this like visualization of, what's happening. And so I guess I'm still like, maybe it doesn't even matter, but I still sometimes feel a little confused about that. But I haven't felt very good since the beginning of the new year, just out of sorts. I don't feel the kind of joy that I have felt in the past when I have, when I'm touching spirit or seeing the light or something like that. And I don't understand that. I don't know what's going on. I feel maybe part of it is I've been needing to explore the dark because some of my visualizations are in the darkness, in a dim light and facing dark things. And I guess part of me thinks maybe that's what I'm supposed to be doing, but it hasn't felt very good, the whole process, honestly.
Okay, so when you say the dark in the meditation, is it dark as in a negative dark thing, or is it just dim light?
It's dim light. It's like, yeah, dim light, like being in underground or there's not sunlight at all. There's an absence of that.
Two things. You can ask for sunlight if you want it, or you can just say, turn on the sun, because it's your journey. And things happen at the speed of thought when you're in the records. So you could just command it and you'd have sunlight. But sometimes you are in dim light, like if they take you into caverns, sometimes underground, into buildings. It doesn't mean that it's a negative thing just because it's not bright light. Does that make sense?
It does, and I'm not sure that there's a that's causing me distress. I'm just feeling like that's what's coming up for me, and I'm trying to understand. This is very different than other things I've experienced. So,
Yeah, it is intentionally. It's a different path that you're taking.
yeah.
You've also got some heavy things going on in your life that will interfere.
Yep.
As much as possible, if you can let those go when you're in meditation, that will help.
I
But,
know that.
that takes practice.
Yeah.
And the whole thing about, is it prayer or is it meditation? That's semantics. It really doesn't matter what you call it.
Yeah.
It could be both, either.
Yeah.
That's not important because often meditation feels like a prayer.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I guess I've kind of concluded that, like, this is what's happening, and so there it is. And
The important thing is that you have the dialogue with your divine team.
hmm. And that's part of where I'm like, I don't feel like I know my divine team. Like I feel a little bit as a stranger. So, I mean, I've had contact with beings, but this has been a different experience. It's been like, I don't know who's coming around. I don't I don't exactly know.
ask them who they are?
Yeah, I can.
Can you see what they look like?
No, and that's the weird thing because I usually have strong visuals. The only thing that's come through has been a mantid, and she's the one being that's pierced me at all in terms of how I feel, and she's been very comforting. Um, and it's not the first time I've seen her, but she's not always there.
So if she's one that you feel you've got a bond with, you could call her forth anytime you want. Build on the experience with her. You could also call an archangel or two, whoever you feel drawn to. And over time, you will build a relationship with some of your team and you will feel more comfortable and you'll just call them more frequently. But it's also fun to experiment and meet others.
Yeah, I mean, I've had teams before and under different circumstances, you know, but this has been very different. I don't know how to express it, but it's been a different sort of experience.
Well, let yourself be comforted that it's supposed to be different. So it's good that you're noticing that it's different. Just feel your way through it. Find your space of peace and comfort. It will grow and develop. Because when I started, I didn't know who I was talking to either, other than somebody in the records. Occasionally, I would get like some grizzled old man would show up and identify themselves as a prophet from the Old Testament. But they would show up and then they wouldn't be there next time. It would be just whoever came in that felt germane to the conversation. So it can be anything. It can be a creature. I used to get a green dragon a lot. She was
Yeah,
fun.
I like the dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she was kind of a cartoon dragon more than a real life one.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah. So just allow it to be whatever it needs to be, because remember, again, they're developing a language with you.
Hmm. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Marianne, did you want to share anything?
Okay, I guess I have a question. Well, I don't know if it's a question. I'm getting a lot of thoughts, I don't know, intuition thoughts about things, people and things that are going on. But sometimes I'm not sure whether it's intuition or it's my own opinion. I'm sure this is a common question, but do you have any suggestions for that?
Yeah, it's very common. You mean outside of your meditation or in the meditation?
Yeah, outside I'm getting a lot more, like even here when somebody's talking, I'll get like, oh, this, that. Yeah, outside. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's your intuition because you weren't thinking about that. It spontaneously showed up in response to something that was going on. Yeah. And one way you can identify is if it's something that's nothing about what you were thinking about, it just kind of like popped in like, ooh, you've got mail. Bam, it's there, that thought. Intrusive thoughts, some people call it, but they're usually positive. They spark your curiosity, they're uplifting, they're supportive. If it's ego, it's going to be telling you that you're making it all up. It's going to be scornful and critical. That's a real easy way to know the difference.
Well, like I'll get a comment saying, like when somebody's talking with me or talking, I'll say, oh, this is what's going on. So
That's
yeah,
interesting.
I don't know if it's my intellect. My background is clinical psychology. So I keep thinking maybe it's that. It's, yeah. So, I'll say, well, okay.
Yeah.
This is what's going on. So yeah, sometimes I don't know if it's intuition or not.
Well,
Or
it
if
could
it's
be a
my
little of both.
experience.
Yeah, because you've got the expertise, so it could be a little of both.
Actually, that
But
makes sense.
it's not ego because it's not scorning you.
Yeah, that makes sense, actually. Yeah. No, it's helpful.
Yeah, so just go with it and be grateful when that happens, and then more will come.
Yeah, it's increasing. So as I'm working on intuition, it's increasing.
that's a natural evolution of this challenge, that it will just start showing up more fluidly in your life.
Yeah, I've actually been meditating many years off and on. So the more I meditate, the more present oriented I am, mindful, I guess.
Yeah, because think about what we're doing. We're inviting our divine team into a two-way dialogue. And they want to talk to us way more than we have been talking to them. So they're going to use any opportunity to pop in and give you those little God winks and a nudge in the ribs. Hey, we're here. And, you know, those thoughts and things.
Yeah, I'm not getting like an outside being.
Mhm.
I'm getting, it's just sort of like a voice in my thoughts.
Yeah, it's different for everybody.
You know, like I'm not getting an old grizzled man or something like that. You know, that actually might be nice, but yeah. So at this point, it's like, oh, it's kind of in my head, like an auditory thing.
Well, if you want an old grizzled man, if you want to meet Isaiah, he was pretty cool. I recommend it. Go into
That'd be
meditation.
cool.
I would really like to talk to Isaiah. Could he come forth? Watch what happens.
It's like I don't know if it's separate from me. That's the thing. Maybe it is me. My real self. So that's what I'm wondering.
We'll try and see what you get. But you know, in the beginning, when I would go in, I would get these different characters, and then over time, the entrance to the records, it looked like the New York Public Library, and it had card catalogs. I mean, it was really the old style thing. Then one day I went in and they had gone computer. There was a help desk with a computer, and Ezekiel was the technician at the help desk.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so he hung around with me for a while, and then eventually that all went away, and now I rarely get the library. I just go into some scene. So it evolves over time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They take you wherever you are, they meet you there and provide the symbols that will make sense to you.
Yeah, I think in some ways I've always had that. I just had a lot of blocks in the past and entities getting in the way, things like that. So
Yeah, just know the entities won't when you're in the records. That's why that opening prayer is so important.
I'm working on getting rid of them. Yeah, because I see them a lot in a lot of places now, which is cool too. It's like there's an entity there. Be careful. Yeah.
You can ask your angels to help you get rid of them.
I'm
If-
also working with crystals to do that. Yeah.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
gotten rid of a lot of the ones that were keeping me in a depressed state. So
Yeah, you know, flex your sovereign soul powers. Draw the line, kick them out. You have the right to do that. Hey there. Did you want to say something, Debbie?
I was just saying goodbye to Abby. She sent a note
Oh.
in the chat. So I was waving goodbye to Abby, if she had it on full screen, whatever. But
Got it.
no, I'm just here
Okay.
listening. I mean, I can talk, but I don't have to yet.
Okay. Anybody else want to share? Beth, do you want to share something?
Sure. So Dave, I just wanted to say that like the first time that I did the challenge, all I got was just yawning and falling asleep. So I completely understand. This time around has been different, although, you know, some days are just yawning or falling asleep. Other days, it's, you know, what you get is quite vivid and can be extremely helpful. I was having days where I couldn't sleep, and I asked my angel and guides for assistance in falling asleep. And literally within 2 minutes of asking for their help, I was out like a light. And then I woke up a few hours later, asked for their help again, and was out like a light within 2 minutes. It was
a wonderful experience. Another night, I had tried to go back to, I'd been in the Virgin Islands over the holiday. And so I was trying to relax myself and imagine the bright blue water. Instead, it was so interesting. I got the starry sky at night, which was also very relaxing. So you kind of sometimes don't know what you're going to get, and it's fun.
It's an adventure.
Yes. So far, I have not been able to recognize my team. So I don't know if like going in and asking to meet my team might help in that.
Give it a try.
Okay.
Or somebody you would like to meet. Ask them to join you.
Awesome. I will try that.
Like some famous figure from history who you would love to have a talk, invite them to join you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's really letting your imagination go in that regard too. Who do you want to talk to? And let them come and surprise you.
I really have no idea who I would want to talk to, but I'll have to think about that.
Well, it could also be an ancestor.
Oh, really? Okay.
The departed, anybody from the other side you want to talk to, they can meet you in the records. Pets, people.
Cool.
You could call forth, what was the name of that famous whale that they had to put down because he hurt too many people?
Oh, yeah. I don't remember the name of it.
You
But
could
yes, I
ask, what's the deal? Why are you so angry? I mean,
Telecom? Was it telecom?
what's that?
Telecom?
Yes, that's the one.
yeah.
Yeah, we probably know why he was so angry, but it would be really interesting to get his take on what was going on in his world. Elena, that would be a really cool story to share too. Somebody or Debbie who's into whales. How fun would that be? Linda, did you want to share anything?
No, I'm just listening and learning.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I wasn't okay yesterday, but I'm much better today. So
I'm so glad. You keep moving in that direction and let us know if
yeah,
you
I'm just trying to get back into meditating more because I pretty much took a whole year off. The last time I did this was last January, so
yeah.
so it's been I've done some other meditations and I'm just trying to find what works best for me right now.
Them again, yeah. You'll find it because you've got the muscle memory of doing it before.
Yeah, I just have to be consistent because sometimes that's what fails me is I drop off for a while.
Yeah. Go looking for the joy when you go in, like going on vacation or something, because if you do that, the energy shifts, it's easier, you'll have more fun, which in turn will cause you to want to do it again.
Yeah, that's something I have to work on.
The fun, yeah, I know you need more fun. So
Yeah.
do it. You can travel anywhere you want in your meditation.
Well, I think the very first one I did, I imagined, because the night before I had a dream and I saw a tree and it was huge, and then there was a little opening at the bottom and I saw some little lights, so it must have been fairies inviting me to go in. So when I did the first meditation, I imagined that huge tree and stairs going down in the tree. And that was a pretty good meditation. I didn't get anything, but I felt good.
Reminds me of Narnia, so maybe you could go in there and meet the creatures from Narnia.
I never watched Narnia.
Oh, can be fun. Well, keep us posted. Let us know how we can help.
Okay.
Ms. Laura V, what's happening with you?
Hello. I just got off another call, so I apologize for being late. Um, Speaking to the Narnia thing, the books I highly recommend, and one book that is never made is the original one, which is actually The Magician's Nephew. And the magical part is at the end of the book, and they actually have a few scenes of Aslan birthing Narnia. He sings it into existence. And so as he sings, all the animals have voices, and the trees talk and the plants talk, and it's a beautiful magical thing. So I highly recommend reading that. Um, and yes, the tree is a very cool thing. I love my tree. Um, I was led into I call it my meadow. It's kind of our inner landscape, our inner soulscape. And the first time I was introduced to it, I was actually taken into the forest, which is where you can meet spirit guides that aren't in your meadow yet. And I met Melchizedek. That was the first one I met. And then once I got into my meadow, there were like 30 beings there. It was insane. I had them all like grouped. So on the far right, around my tree. So the far right were all my spirit animals, because I have about 9 totem animals. And then the gods and goddesses, and then the ascended masters and archangels, and then the ancestors, and then my loved ones and other spirit guides. And I tell people, use your imagination, make it up. Your imagination is your most powerful tool in learning to connect with your guides and loved ones. Because eventually, then your imagination, I think, just gives you the freedom. You're not trying to put any expectations on it. You're just allowing your spirit to talk and to express itself, and then in time it becomes real, and you start to trust it more, and then it's like, oh yeah, you guys are real. Cool. So that's my thing on that. So what about, it's funny, starting the challenge, I was all going, and I had my special notebook for this, and I was writing every day, and then well, even not even a week, maybe 5 days in, things started happening. Now I talk to my guides all the time, so that's not an issue, but actually sitting down and officially channeling something. Yeah. So Metatron's little message about, well, are you going to just give in, or are you going to pick it back up and keep going? And it's like, oh, okay. I guess I'll pick it up and keep going. The cool thing, though, is a week ago today's Monday. So is the Sunday before yesterday. So 2 Sundays ago, I actually was invited to participate in an Ask the Channel session. And I channeled publicly for the first time ever. It was crazy. I was, he was preparing, and I'm like quick, setting up everything, and like, what if I don't get anything? And they're like, just calm down. And of course, the first question was about something historical, which actually pertained to me. I'm like, okay, here's another spirit setup. And once things started flowing, well, because I'll tell you, it was about the Cathars, who I'd never heard about, but I knew about the Magdalene Caves in France. And so it occurred to me, and I was thinking France and Mary Magdalene. I was like, are the Cathars by any chance like in where were they located? And it's like, in Europe. I was like, could that have been France by any chance? Like, yes. I'm like, wait a minute, are they part of at all related to Mary Magdalene? Yes. I was like, oh. And so that stuff started flowing out of me, and it was, yeah, that question was for me as much as it was for her. It's like, yeah, that pertains to you. Okay. And then after that, it just flowed, and people asked their questions, and oh, it was wild. So that was pretty cool.
Beautiful. Congratulations.
Thank you. That was really fun. But yeah, I will say though that, in the beginning, those first few days, I got some really nice messages. Now, when I did this 2 years ago, the first day they started talking to me because I'd been automatic writing for a while. So I'd gotten into the flow of interacting with my guides, but I didn't get good stuff. Um, or anything really specific. Often it happened like once in a while. Whereas when I was doing it with the group, things started flowing a lot more easily. And so in that first one, I cannot remember what they said. I need to go back to the notebook, but I remember saying, wait a minute, like Gene Roddenberry? And they're like, yes, exactly. And then they said, war will end and peace will reign. Oh gosh, something about peace on earth where harmony will reign or something. I was like, wow. And then some more lines came and then I was like, oh, I got to make this into a song. And so I did that. And that was pretty powerful. It was like, wow, it was like the first really useful thing I got that I could share with people. But then like a couple days later, maybe a week later, oh my Lord, they waxed epically. They're like, yeah, the deliverer and like the Exodus with Moses, and you're going to the promised land. I'm like, what are you talking about? I wanted to strangle them. Um, now I actually understand what they meant. Um, because honestly, we as light workers, we are leading the way to New Earth. And, the thing that got through to me last summer, a few years ago, I had channeled, I'm already there. I'm just waiting for the human to catch up. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then the last summer, they're like, look, your higher self's already there. All of our higher selves are already there. It already exists. It's just now we have to call it into physical reality. And that's what those of us who are connected to our higher selves and are connected to that energy of New Earth, it is the promised land. Honestly, it really is. And we're leading the way in consciousness and in vibration and stuff. So that makes so much more sense now. And it's like what I was freaking out about was, but Moses, that was a big deal. Like that was really big. And it's like, and that's what was scaring me about it. I'm like, I'm not interested in any prophecy stuff. No. But really we're here to do something really big again. To what I'm getting is that we're evolving as the next level of the human species. We're evolving to something brand new and better than what we've been, and that's really exciting. And then that of course will then bring in the new earth, which is very exciting. So there's a little more hope there. But the other thing they said was promises made, promises kept, promises given. I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, we crossed some threshold where they said it is a done deal now. It was maybe, but now it's for sure. I'm like, okay. So I'm learning more about that. But this year, what I really am appreciative, and maybe it's because I've done more work, and because we're now in the 4D, probably more substantially. I'm very grateful to be getting actual really useful stuff that I can share with people, not these weird like off the rocker kind of things. It's more like, hey, it's more natural talk. It's more like conversive, like the way we talk to each other now, and I'm really appreciative about that. So I've really been enjoying the messages and being able to share them. Yeah.
You really see the evolution now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this kind of way out there concept, but we're really starting to
Yeah.
experience it.
Yeah, because I remember I bought the Awe Method by Michael Sandler, and so once a month, people who bought his program get to be in a room with him, and I did it for a few months in the beginning, and what I found a lot of people were saying is like they were also getting really big ideas, grandiose things that didn't make a lot of sense. He's like, oh yeah, no problem, don't worry about it, you'll understand later. Like, what? It's like, yeah, that's normal. I am so glad we're out of that land now. It's like, because I wanted useful things. Like, give me something I can use, darn it. And now I'm very glad that that's happening. Yay!
Right.
So
Those
yeah.
grandiose pictures were to fascinate and draw you in, just like as a child, you had the fairy tales. And then
Mhm.
you got the more concrete learning. So
Mm,
it's evolution. You need to go through that.
Yeah.
mm.
And building the language along the way.
Mhm. It's so interesting because I didn't know what people meant by trans channeling. And I was so glad that I found that video where David, that's his name, right? The guy from
Dave.
Dave, yeah, explained, well, before trans channeling, I was seeing in pictures and things and I had to interpret, whereas trans channeling, it just comes through me. I was like, oh. I'm like, oh, that's what I do all the time. Like, what are you talking about? My thought of trans channeling, and I think for some people it's true, is I've seen trans channels and they're basically kicked out and they're off somewhere else mentally while the being that they're channeling is channeling through them. And so I thought that was required with trans channeling is we disappear and they take over the body and do the thing and then they leave and then we come back. But for me, that hasn't been my experience. Um, it's been more they come through and say what they need to say and I can witness it. Yeah, I'm more like in the back seat, but I'm not like thrown out of the bus completely. I'm just in a different position inside, if that makes any sense.
Well, if you ever listen to Lee Carroll, who channels Cryon, he comes in and he says, my partner steps aside and allows me to come in.
Mm,
And that's exactly what Dave's talking about.
mm,
Gotcha. Yeah. And I think the other thing for me that was confusing about it is I didn't know that that's what I was doing already. Basically, apparently I've been channeling like my whole life but I didn't know that's what I was. It would just be like this feeling would come, this energy would come in like this beautiful love. And then I just thought I was being inspired and saying something inspiring, but it happened once in front of somebody who could actually see what was happening. And he said, "Way to go with your channeling, Laura." I'm like, "What are you talking about? You just channeled." "I did not." "Yes, you did." And he's like, "You literally stepped aside, the spirit came through, said what it needed to say, left, and you went back." I was like, "Seriously?" Like, yeah. I don't know that I'm doing that. So yeah, it's been really interesting having people who can see what's going on telling me like, yeah, you're doing that. Oh dear. We all get here different ways. But yeah. But it's been really fun to participate in this channel again. So thanks for hosting it yet again.
Yeah, you're welcome. We're going to keep doing this because we're not to Earthtopia yet. Part of the journey. So, Debbie, we're winding down. Are you ready to weigh in?
I can try. Somebody keeps dancing around here. Wonder who that could be.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I think that everybody needs to know that they're perfect, just the way they are. And I've felt all the feels. I felt all the for years, off and on, as you well know. And we're just perfect beings. And we go through emotions and we go through ups and downs and waves and today I could have gone two different ways, when Tilly started being silly and like even right now, she just makes me laugh. And today, when I was meditating, I had to pause the timer like 4 times because something silly was happening and I needed to pause. And what was so cool is that it didn't matter because it all flowed beautifully. And I laughed a lot. I laughed one time until I cried because it was just so you couldn't have made it up, right? And then as soon as I was done meditating, she went and laid down and fell asleep. And I went, what was the message there? You know, that we have to figure out how to find joy during the chaos is what I got. And and the best way to find joy through the chaos is to find something to laugh about. And I haven't always done that because I'm pretty serious. And my dog, I talked about this today too in my writing, is the other dog is a herding dog, and she's a very serious creature. Like everything is serious. And I'm like, yeah, just like me. And then I've got this pumpkin over here that's just silly. She's probably gonna hear her bark in a second because she just went over to tip her. That's probably what she'll do. No, she's gonna just play with her toy. But she's just funny. And life seems to work out when we can keep our vibration a little bit higher. And today I stayed away. I did some things with Martin Luther King. Yours was wonderful, and another one, and watched dogs and kitties. And I didn't even really go on Facebook a whole lot. Couple chats, but when I did go on Facebook, it was the exact perfect time. Imagine that, because I saw Biden's farewell address. And as much as I didn't want him to do that address so that the other person could come in, and I wanted Kamala to, come in, I celebrated Joe Biden today as well as Martin Luther King. And for me, that's what helped me keep my puppy kept my vibration up. But for me, it was that, I said to Dan that had anybody else won this election who was a Republican, I would have watched today, but I couldn't watch with this particular person. And that made me sad because I love watching it. It's part of the pomp and circumstance. It's part of our history. But I felt a deeper calling not to, and that's okay. So I think it's okay to feel the sadness, guys. We're all going to go through it. I think it's okay. But we also have to reach for the joy and the community and the love and the hope. And I think follow those breadcrumbs to those funny things and the happiness and naps, get good sleep. We'll make it through this chaos. It doesn't have to be chaotic. If we say we're going to make it through the chaos, it's going to be chaotic. And so we can't even say that either. Well, we have to take it one moment at a time. Right now, in this moment, everything is okay. We're all good. We're all good.
It's almost like we hit the bottom now. So the only place to go is up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And people are waking up every day. That's something to celebrate.
And I think we have to celebrate, and we get to, I have a roof over my head. I have all these wonderful gratitude things. It was cold today. Yes, very, very cold. -8 when we did chores, and Dan did chores, bless his heart, at, I think it was -12 or 13, maybe worse this morning. And I had my own little circus going on here, you guys. That was pretty funny. I don't know if I'll talk about that. But just know that it was pretty funny with all these dogs and me trying to change clothes and put warmer things on because puppies like to grab everything they can get their little mouths on. So it was a circus this morning. It was a circus. It was pretty funny. But we'll keep it G-rated. Need I say more? Oh, so anyway, I'm really grateful to the meditation challenge. I'm really grateful for the dance challenge that I'm doing. And I'm really grateful that I'm not as tired this year as I was about this time last year. We're on day 15, right? So we're 2/3 of the way through.
Mhm.
And I remember last year I was dragging. And this year, even with the puppy and not getting the same amount of sleep that I normally do, it's more like little shifts of naps. I'm not as tired as I was last year. So I'm really grateful for that too.
You had a heavy, you had a lot of grief.
Go ahead.
You were shifting away from the career. It's a big year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And grief with losses, 2 dogs, best friend, my mom the year before. Yeah, it was a lot of grief going on that I was processing. Yeah. Thank you, Rachel. I see your little note. So, and I guess maybe there she is. Maybe that's a good thing to know that we do have grief in our lives and we go through the ups and the downs, but there's always that wave, which a lot of my meditations are about waves. Or today I saw the seahorses in the water and they were all grabbing onto the reeds. And then a shark came and all the little fishes were afraid that it was coming to get it, but it wasn't. It was the plankton. And that's where it ended. I don't know where. I think it'll take me there tomorrow. We'll see. See if something else comes along. All right, I've talked enough. It's time for me to mute.
Okay. Well, we're at the end anyway. So I just want to remind you guys that we'll be back here next Monday, 5 o'clock, to celebrate completing the challenge. We'll make it a real celebration. And not everybody will be done, but that's okay. We'll still be there in the group supporting them. But we do want to have our official celebration party. Anybody else want to add anything before we call it a day? All right, you guys on the YouTube side, how you doing? Look like you're continuing to maintain. Thanks for joining us over there. We appreciate your support. And just know that the meditation challenge is always open. You can join at any time. It's just that we do an official group challenge every year in January. So that's what we're celebrating now. But you can come in anytime. Come into the support group. Let us help you to get through the difficulties, the misunderstandings, and to find your happy space, because you will. Metatron designed it that way. It's so beautiful. And thank you for being with us today on this extra challenging day. And my apologies that my picture isn't showing. There's a setting in Zoom I was playing with that apparently caused me to be invisible today. But that's okay because I can still communicate with you. And I'm sure it'll be back to normal next week. So you guys have a fabulous rest of the week. Don't forget to give some honor and a nod to Dr. King because he deserves his fair share of attention today. And make a little for Jimmy as well, since they went ahead and raised the flags for you know who, despite tradition. So lots of love to them because they deserve it. Much love to all of you. I'll see you in the group and I'll see you back here next Monday. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
You too, Deborah. Take care.